So, Thursday Theories, week number 42. This one's a tough one because it deals with our lives as leaders and as teachers, but it's also something I'm trying to deal with students and things as well, and making sure that I'm not a part of the problem, I guess you could say, for that there. And that's this: it's okay to be tired, but you don't need to brag about it. Life happens, and we all get tired at some point. And I think that's an interesting thing. That's, you ask people how they are. You want an honest answer, and you want to give an honest answer. And there are those days that we are just exhausted. Sometimes physically, sometimes mentally or emotionally. It's just so draining. And that's reality. And we shouldn't lie about that. If we're struggling, we need to talk about that. Where I'm looking at, though, is those individuals that are always talking about how exhausted they are. And it's interesting as you start to talk to people to find out what's going on in their lives. So I remember my first year of teaching. I had a student who would keep his head down on the desk during class, and I talked to him about it one day. And he told me that he was one of the major breadwinners for his family. And so he was working late, and then he had homework and things, and I had him first thing in the morning, first period, and he would come in and lay his head down. But the interesting thing was he never went to sleep. And he said, I just need to rest a little bit, because I will pay attention in class, I promise you. I was like, okay. And I remember principal came in for my evaluation, and it happened he'd choose that period. And I warned him, I said, here's what's going on with this student. And he kind of gave me this look and a comment like he didn't believe me, like I wasn't being a good teacher because I didn't have the students up and looking and doing things. And so I let that go, started through class. I asked a question, called on this student with his head down on the desk, and he answered perfectly. Went on a little bit more, did that 2 or 3 times during the class. Now this was a block class, so it was a longer one in there. Okay, but he answered it right every single time. And I glanced back at the principal, and he's like, oh, okay. And I was fine then. I didn't get in any evaluation troubles for that. But I knew my student. I knew why he was doing that. Now, run forward a bunch of years, and we were talking to some students, and we had an activity, and one of them, we were dealing with the novel Night, and talking about the Holocaust and things that were done, and the rights and things that were taken away from people as this was going on. And one of the ones that was talked about was if you lost the right to be able to use your computer or do online stuff. And I had a student make the comment, and this confused me because he was always tired and wasn't getting homework done and things, and could never give me a good reason for that. And he said, I think I'd be okay if that happened. And I knew he was like a gamer. I was like, really, why? He goes, well, I'd probably go to bed at a better time, and I'd get more sleep, and I'd get my homework done. I took a moment. I said, well, why don't you just turn the computer off? And he gave me this look that was so confused that he couldn't understand what I was talking about. So here's 2 very, very different students talking about being tired all the time. Okay? And for him, for the first one, he never bragged about it. It was just the thing. We knew what it was. But he had this really good reason for it. And I had another student who complained about being tired and talked about, oh yeah, I know I didn't get my homework done and all this different stuff. And it was his choice to do that. So I think as teachers and as leaders, we're going to have moments in our lives when we're going to be tired. And sometimes that means we need to ask for help. But students are going to be the same way. And we need to talk to them and understand what's going on in their lives and be connected to them. Because if there's a struggle that we can help them with, we should be doing that. And encouraging them for growth and things. So, there it is. It's okay to be tired, but you don't need to brag about it. Life happens, and we're all tired at some points. So the question now becomes, and the challenge for you is, how are you helping those around you that are tired?